my favorite note in perfumery is vanilla. And so every month I am always looking for new vanillas to add into my collection. So these are the 5 that I've added in the month of May that I absolutely love. Let's get started. First up is Mkos Bonfire Vanilla. So I just got a whole bunch of fragrances in for Mkos now that they are available in the States and through Beauty House, etc., etc. This is fantastic. Imagine the fragrance from Maison Margiela, Replica, the Replica line. The one that is called, I always forget the name. It's the By the Fireplace. I can't stand By the Fireplace. It is, it doesn't even smell like perfume to me. It really doesn't. I guess I feel that way about By the Fireplace as how some people describe YSL Baby Cat, like unwearable. I love YSL Baby Cat, but I know a lot of people don't like it. By the Fireplace to me is just an unwearable fragrance that is like just literal smoke and wood in a bad way. I don't like it at all. But imagine By the Fireplace combined with Bianco Latte, and that is what Bonfire Vanilla is to me. It is fantastic. It's just the right amount of a smoky wood. But the issue with the By the Fireplace fragrance is that there's not a lot of vanilla to balance out the smokiness, so you end up just getting smoky wood. This is a smoky wood smell with an actual sweet, warm, cozy vanilla. So the smokiness is toned down, the vanilla is oomped up, and it is perfect. Like the perfect smoky vanilla, if you are into that type of scent profile. And I'm not saying spicy. YSL Baby Cat is a spicy vanilla. It's got a lot of pepper in there. This is to me a smoky vanilla, like literal smoked wood with vanilla sweet extract, Bianco Latte-ish vibe, all mixed in. Absolutely delicious. And don't get me wrong, there definitely are, pepper, spicy notes listed. But I just think that what I get more than the spice is the woodiness, the Gaiac wood. Gaiac wood was one of my favorite notes in fragrances, one of my favorite wood fragrances, right behind Palo Santo for me. So of course I had a high chance of loving it. The spice is definitely there, but it's just not as much as it is in other spicy fragrances. So I really, really enjoy the overall composition. This was actually released back in 2022. It does not list the perfumer. I don't know any of the perfumers for the Mkos brand, unfortunately. And I would consider this to be an inspired fragrance with a twist, inspired by Replica, By the Fireplace, but definitely with a twist. And in my opinion, way better for a much more affordable price point. And I just found out that apparently this is a fragrance that they had been talking about on TikTok for a long time. I just got on TikTok end of last year, so I'm new to that whole TikTok perfume world. It's like literally a whole new universe. But apparently this was very viral over there for good reason, that you can get the small sizes for like 25 bucks. If not, maybe a little bit more. I don't remember the exact price point. I'll try to remember to put it on screen. But it was very, very affordable. For high quality and niche this smells, incredible vanilla that you have to add to your collection. If you like smoky vanillas, this is a must-have. Next, we have Daniel René's Muier fragrance. So this I had heard about, but I had never tried it. And then I heard him announce that Eyenash was going to be restocking some bottles, so I bought it immediately because I wanted to experience a white chocolate fragrance. I have smelled a lot of chocolate fragrances in my day, but I have never smelled a white chocolate fragrance. Ooh, this is very rich. It's of course very sweet. And it is very strong. It is everything that I would like or want in a fragrance. Sweet, rich, and very strong. You definitely get the white chocolate, but it doesn't come off synthetic to me. It still has this fluffy, but still heavy and strong type of scent profile, but not like syrupy chocolate, but like a fluffy, rich type of white chocolate that is still a little bit dark, but good, if that makes sense. And of course, you have a lot of vanilla in this fragrance. In both the opening notes and in the dry down, you get vanilla. A little bit of florals in the heart to kind of anchor it and make it not just like straight up chocolate. But this is delicious. This has been so good to layer. This actually layered with Bonfire Vanilla is phenomenal. I put this down as my base and then I lightly mist it with this. Oh my God. The richest, sweetest, chocolatey, vanilla, smoky combination in the world. So good, so good. So I'm really happy to have this one in my collection. If you like chocolatey scents, right? You like rich, sweet chocolatey scents, then you have to try this. Sweet, rich, vanilla chocolatey scents, then I really think that you should try this one. But if that's not your vibe, then stay away. This This is not a fragrance that I think morphs into something completely different. Like Midnight Sin starts out very chocolatey and then transforms into focusing more on the cherry and the white florals. This to me stays chocolate throughout, but maybe just at different intensity, but it's a chocolate fragrance. Really, really good. Chocolate vanilla, big, big fan. And fun fact about Muier is that apparently when it was first dropped on TikTok, it sold out in 18 minutes. 18 minutes. And now consistently sells out every time it's relaunched. So that's why when he announced that we're gonna be getting some bottles back, I was super excited to finally try out the fragrance. Next, we have Victoria's Secret's Bare Suede Vanilla. So this has been talked about all over the internet. And I smelled it very briefly on a trip in Hawaii with my family. And I wasn't overly impressed with the quick sniff that I took of it. But I think it was also due to the fact that at that time I had been smelling a lot of perfumes that day. And this was like one of the last ones. And I was like, whatever, overhyped. And then I didn't even think or look at it again. But recently, just a few days ago, I went and smelled all the perfumes in Victoria's Secret. I'm gonna be putting up that video as to which 5 I actually think are worth your money. But I went and smelled all the perfumes, and one of the best ones was for sure Bare Suede Vanilla. This is actually a really nice vanilla, especially for the price point. And it's rare that you get a vanilla that is not just like straight up candy or sweet like caramel sauce from such a huge retailer like Victoria's Secret. Usually they would play it safe with just something that is like that. But this is actually interesting. It's got some depth to it. It's got some interesting notes going on. This apparently was released back in 2025, and the perfumers are Carolina Sabas and Rodrigo Flores Roux. So this opens up with a bit of saffron. You get a lot of sandalwood in the heart of the fragrance. I really feel like the sandalwood is what marks it. And then the dry down is vanilla, milk, and suede. It's a gorgeous, easy to wear, not overly complex, but also not basic. Like it's got, again, some interesting qualities going on to it with the suede and the saffron, the sandalwood, and it's not just a cupcakey type of vanilla. For the price point, I am very, very impressed. I understand why people like it so much. It's really good. And apparently the perfumer behind Bare Suede Vanilla, Rodrigo, is a highly prolific Mexican-American perfumer. I had never heard of him before, but I will put up some of his previous works that he is known for. And I guess because he's done, so many like high profile type of perfumes, he's a name that a lot of these big retailers or big brands typically look for. So I should not be surprised that this is such a great scent, even though it is priced so affordably for the masses. Next, we have Money Cassonade. This is from fellow fragrance influencer, Sharita M. You guys, if you watch my channel, probably over 90% chance that you also watch Sharita. She's awesome, has great content over there. So I actually got this as a sample through Split Scent, and I loved it. I thought that it was delicious. Such a good vanilla brown sugar scent. And usually what I do with samples, how I know I want to purchase something, is once I finish my decant of that fragrance, if I find myself craving that smell, that's when I know it's a must-have. So that's how I felt about Money Cassonade. It is, I actually don't know if it's pronounced Money Cassonade, Money Cassonade. Maybe it's Money Cassonade. I don't know. Somebody will tell me. I'm sure somebody will correct me. But either way, delightful. It is definitely a pricier one. This one is about $300, but this is a 4.2 ounce bottle. And I mean, it's niche. So you either know that you're not interested in niche, or you get some niche, or you're like, yeah, I'm a niche girly. That's, up to you to decide. Just know that this is not, a $40 fragrance. It's a niche fragrance that is meant to be high quality, made by a highly prolific master perfumer. This was apparently released back in 2023, and the perfumer is, again, excuse my pronunciation, Bertrand Ducheffoir, the best I can do. He is one of the most well-known perfumers in the world, but he doesn't usually make gourmands, which is what makes this one so interesting to me. But anyways, let's get into the actual smell if you've not yet smelled Money Cassonade or Money Cassonade. So this is, like I mentioned, a really good vanilla brown sugar type of smell. It opens up with vanilla and ice cream and cashmere, which is one of my favorite, like smooth type of notes, a little bit of bergamot to keep it fresh. But the toffee, brown sugar, and amberwood really, to me, are what set the tone of the overall fragrance in the heart. It comes off just as that is described. Brown sugar, toffee, and amberwood, so a tiny bit woody. a tiny bit woody, but definitely sweet and sugary and rich and like dark sugary. I love, love, love it. I actually thought that there was coffee in it at first because of how dark it can get, but I was like, is this like a crystallized sweet coffee? What is this? But that makes sense that it's amberwood with brown sugar and toffee. And then the dry down amber, musk, and vanilla caviar. Perfection, perfection. It's very long lasting on my skin, but I would not consider it to be beast mode in its projection, which for the season that I'm in, that's the kind of vanilla that I want. I think a beast mode projecting vanilla for warm weather is gonna be too much for me. That's gonna be a little bit too cloying. It's gonna be a little bit too much for other people. Like I'm not wearing YSL Baby Cat on an 85, degree weather day. Me personally, you do you, I can't do that. But this I can wear on a really hot day. It's not too much for me. Maybe it would still be too much for other people, but because again, I don't think that the projection is crazy. I think the projection is moderate, but it has really nice longevity. I can pull this off on a hot day and not feel like it's too much for me. I really, really enjoy it. If you like sweet vanilla fragrances, but you still like them to have some depth to them, and you're just looking to, support a fellow fragrance influencer who's contributed a lot of great work and content to the fragrance space, I'd highly recommend checking out Sharita M's perfume here. This was in collaboration with Perfumes, of course. And if you are, unsure of whether or not you want to, invest into a full-size $300 bottle, again, you can get samples from Split Scent. This next perfume is the one on the list that I am the most excited to finally have in my collection and talk about because I have been trying to get this perfume for a year. And I gotta show you the presentation of this perfume because it is stunning and interesting and unique. So this is from the house called Blendergraphy. This is a brand that does, what is it called? Olfactive mixology, which basically means that they only make perfumes that are inspired by some type of cocktail. So let me show you guys what this looks like because this is so cool. So when you open up the box, the perfume actually comes shipped in a mixer, like the kind of mixer that you would use for drinks. And I didn't even realize until my husband pointed this out that this is an actual mixer that you could use. I don't know if I will actually use it for mixing drinks. I don't really drink like that, but hey, it's cool that I have an actual mixer that came with my perfume. So you open it up and you get your perfume in here. And this is none other than Vanilla Mudslide. So if you guys watch Sebastian the Perfume Guy, if you have seen his videos, he's probably made like 4 or 5 videos at this point on this one fragrance for good reason. This is, in his words, one of the best, actually, I don't even think he said one of, I think he said the best vanilla on the market right now, like in terms of like a newer release is how I'm taking that. And so Sebastian's favorite second note in perfumery after patchouli is vanilla. My favorite is vanilla. So of course, as a fellow, vanilla psychopath, I take very strongly that recommendation and just straight up blind bought it. Didn't need to smell it. I trust his nose. And when he says one of the best vanillas, you just buy it. So I've literally been trying to get this for a year and they kept selling out. Whenever I would hear that they were back in stock, I would miss it. So when I saw his video come up about this one, immediately went and got the full 100 milliliter size. And I'm so happy to finally have it in my collection. So let's talk about what the smell is because it's so interesting and incredibly unique. So as I mentioned before, this is inspired by Vanilla Mudslide, which is a type of cocktail that is, of course, like rich, syrupy, a little bit almondy, and for sure alcohol-y, right? And that's what they've really been able to capture in this bottle. This was released in 2024 by a perfumer named Pauline Jeguse. I believe they are located or based out of Amsterdam or the Netherlands. So I'm not entirely sure how to pronounce that name, but that's the best I could do. And this is one of the few fragrances that I can proudly say has a butter note that does not bother me at all. I barely even smell butter, to be honest with you, when I spray this. I don't get a lot of the butter. I think that the butter, to me, must be acting more as just like a smoothing, thickety type of thing, but it doesn't smell like most butter smells that I have smelled, like Vanilla Voyage or Cream Velvet by Cudlush. Those fragrances, the butter is very pronounced. Or even in the Give Me Gourmand line from Lattafa, the Whipped Pleasures is like a buttery popcorn. It doesn't smell like any of that. It's just like this kind of creamy, thick sweetness, but it's not plasticky or fake smelling, which is what my usual issue with butter notes in perfume is. So I'm really, really happy about that. When you first spray this, you are hit with this intense aroma of bitter almond. And sometimes when like bitter almond is very, very rich and strong, it can somehow kind of take on the vibe of like a cherry note. So it almost smells like cherry, but it's not, it's bitter almond. It's hard to describe, but if you smell it, you would know what I'm talking about. So you get this bitter almond, and coconut milk is gonna make it a little bit creamy and lactonic along with the butter. But you also, underneath all of that, start to pick up this slightly vodka smell. It's very hard for me to describe what vodka smells like in perfume. The best way I could describe it in this perfume, it's like musky, it's a little bit like sharp, it's there. You might, if I had smelled this, I would not have said, oh, that's vodka. But knowing this is vanilla mudslide and that it has a vodka note, you can tell that's the vodka note, if that makes sense. But I'd never smelled vodka in a perfume before, so this was a first experience for me. In the heart, you are introduced to coffee. So the bitter almondness starts to fade away. You get more of a sweet almond note, but you also get a bit of like a dark coffee, gritty kind of coffee that I love, along with chocolate from cocoa and of course more vanilla. So it's like a chocolatey coffee, vanilla. I was actually surprised by how much chocolate is in this fragrance. So you do have to like a chocolatey coffee, vanilla type of perfume, because it does definitely have a good amount of cocoa. So coffee, chocolate, cocoa, and then the dry down. The dry down for me is my favorite part of this perfume. The dry down to me smells like a slightly drunk version of Bianco Latte. You get this vanilla and caramel. I also feel like the dry down somehow is the strongest part of the journey on my skin. That's the part that really wafts up to my nose throughout the day. And I'm like, how are you getting stronger a couple hours later into the journey? Fascinating. But something about the dry down, I think because it's got a lot of embronxin, it's got a lot of isoe super and musk, along with the, of course, vanilla, it's just delicious. A little bit like Bianco Latte, but it's been spiked with alcohol. Not as heavy as Bianco Latte, not as dense, but it has that type of vibe. So you do have to like that kind of vanilla. This is a vanilla fragrance that truly takes you on a journey. Every phase from the top, the heart, and the base is truly different. It is not linear whatsoever. And it's been a long time since I've experienced the vanilla that takes you on that drastically different of a journey, from the really strong bitter almond opening to the sweet but chocolatey coffee heart to the dry down of this spiked vodka Bianco Latte. It is lovely. In terms of projection, I'm not entirely sure about projection on this one as of yet. I want to say it's either moderate or it's strong projection. And the reason why I'm not 100% certain is because this fragrance has a ton of those embronxin, musk, isoe super type of notes, which those notes are very easy to go nose blind to, but they're the kind of notes that other people can smell on you. So sometimes I don't get whiffs of it, but then randomly I'll get a whiff of it like I do with another 13 and I'm like, oh, it is there and it is punching. But I don't think it's like beast mode. But I do think that it lasts very long on skin. My husband wore it and was like, I can still smell this on my skin the next day. But so far, I don't think it's crazy loud and projecting. My mind may change on that. I've only had this for a few days, so bear with me. But I would say it's moderate projection to maybe strong, depending on the additional experiences that I get wearing this and seeing what other people around me, say. It might just be too early for me. But it's absolutely fantastic. I don't know if they do samples. I think they might. I think they may do samples, or they might do a smaller version. If you are someone who likes the idea of a alcohol-y, spiked, Bailey's, Kahlua, almost type of perfume with a little bit of a Bianco Latte dry down, or if you just want to see why Sebastian, the perfume guy who literally has thousands and thousands and thousands of perfumes, is calling this the best vanilla on the market, highly recommend checking it out. I'll definitely drop the website down below for you guys if they even still have some in stock. I have no idea. So let me know if you have tried any of these, and if you haven't, what are some of your most recent favorite vanilla fragrances if you're into vanilla. And I will see you guys back tomorrow for our next episode.